My name is Schlatt, and I'm a little invisible guy. And I'm joined today by Ludwig, who's a little flight guy. He flies.
I'm a flyer. Yeah, I like flying.
Welcome back to Did Schlatt Win, everybody, where I urge you to only vote based on how the arguments go, not how you feel about them. Because honestly, last episode I argued with Tommy about how many holes are in a straw. I blew him out of the water, and most people just voted on how they felt about it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Does it feel good to Jake Paul your way through 3 easy pickings?
Okay, look, I have a confession to all the viewers of Did Schlatt Win. Most of the Tommy episode was questions and debates that I did with Ludwig.
What happened to the recordings of those, Schlatt?
A good hour or so after we finished recording, I went to review the footage and I was not recording my audio.
Yeah, that's what he says, okay? But top down, this is a farce.
Oh my God.
I filled every orifice you have verbally with logic, facts, and destroyed every single argument you had.
No.
You left talking to me, asking me about how many straw holes there were.
I did win those arguments, but unfortunately, you'll never be able to hear them. And so I kind of just transferred the arguments over to Tommy, and I beat him just as bad as I beat Ludwig that day.
Yeah.
Let's not dwell on the past, you know?
Let's not dwell on the past. Let's not focus on the fact that you've picked on 2 teenage British kids with no brains.
Today, Ludwig, we're talking about would you rather be invisible or fly? Nice little superpowers. What do you think?
Flight isn't the best superpower.
No.
But between the 2 options, flight is the best one for sure.
I would argue that it also is not the best superpower to be able to be invisible, but I think this is the better option out of the 2, and here's why. You know the government?
Yes.
You know how they like to fuck with people? Like they'll try and convince you that your sons didn't die and then give you a fake son. And then when you try and tell them that this is not my son anymore, they're going to put you in a mental hospital and then lobotomize you through your skull, put an ice pick through your brain.
Less familiar with it, but okay.
They'll keep you in a cage if they see you flying, Ludwig. That's my point. And I think that's why being invisible is the better option. The U.S. government has loads of sonar and radar detection equipment, and they're aimed everywhere. You think they're not aimed everywhere?
So your big argument on why flight is worse than being invisible is not because being invisible is good.
No.
But it's because flight could get you trapped.
It will.
It will get you trapped because of the American government.
I'm getting a call. Sorry. No one important.
Okay. Well, Schlatt.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Recording a podcast. What's up?
Oh, you said what's up?
What?
Your whole argument is predicated on the fact that the U.S. government would entrap anybody who shows the ability to fly.
Yes. If they don't shoot you down first,
right,
you will be shot down. They'll take fucking fighter jets if they see you doing that shit.
Hey, let me reach across the aisle here. I agree with you. They shot down a fucking balloon that was tracking the weather because it came from China. So I'm in the air for more than 5 seconds. Senate gets an emergency meeting. They shoot my ass down.
Exactly.
Not too dissimilar than how they would likely treat somebody that was invisible, because presumably if you were invisible, you'd be doing invisible things.
How are they going to get you?
Well, let's be real. We're talking about the American government. So if you probably are invisible, I bet your dumbass would have your phone in your pocket or some shit.
No.
No, you'd be really smart invisible guy.
I'd be fully naked and I wouldn't be making a noise because I have enhanced lung capacity.
What? You get that?
Yeah.
Okay. I have super dodging ability and I can't get shot down. Like, what do you, we're playing?
No, just me in general. I have enhanced lung capacity. Ready?
I haven't breathed yet. Okay. All right. I believe you.
You remember Stranger Things? You remember 7 from that show? They kept her in a cage and fucking...
Her name's not 7. It's 11.
They kept her in a cage and fucking poked and prodded at her?
They kept her in a cage,
Fucking poked and prodded at her at the beginning of that show? Remember that?
I'm gonna flip your whole paradigm here.
Oh, my throat. Ooh.
That shouldn't even be hurt. You didn't use it for that. You were holding your breath. You weren't breathing, so your throat. I think because you were arguing on the fact that flight in America could get you shot down, you in your heart of hearts believe that flying would be a fun, magical experience.
Yes, it would be.
And if we lived in a government or in a society in America where they wouldn't shoot us down, then you wouldn't be as stressed.
Sure.
So here's my counterpoint. I'm just going to take my ass over to Spain. I have dual citizenship. I can go to France if I want. I can go to Sweden.
They're going to put you in a box regardless.
Nope.
They're going to put you in they're going to extradite you.
Buddy.
You know what they did to fucking Pablo Escobar? They got him over here.
That is such a different situation,
No,
obviously.
it's not. No, it's not.
The French population rioted in the streets this past week because they raised the age of retirement by 2 years. They rioted, all right? I would be a
so
symbol
you're saying
of hope.
so you're saying the French government is just as evil and oppressive as the U.S. government?
I'm saying they got no power. The people will roll over them.
Nuh-uh.
What's Macron's little tiny ass hand, baby ass hand
no,
gonna do?
they're going to put you in a box too, brother.
You know where they'll never put you in a box?
Where?
Japan.
What does that mean?
They wouldn't put me in a box. They don't have an army in Japan.
Yeah, they would. They'd put you in a box.
No, they wouldn't put me in a box.
If I saw a random person flying around, I'd want them in a box. How about that?
Sweden, they'd love me there. They'd love me in Sweden.
If you had someone with superpowers, you wouldn't.
George, I'd be flying over saying that. Klocka. You don't even understand what I'm saying. See?
You wouldn't put someone in a box and fuck with them if they had superpowers just to do experiments on them and learn?
If I was in America, yeah, of course. It's my God-given right. But if I'm outside of the confines of America, not fucking with that.
We know how powerful the United States government is.
True.
And you, as Ludwig, you are a high VIP, very important person in this country. If they see you flying around, flying away, they're not going to put up with that. They're going to send a plane wherever, and they're putting you in that box, and they're going to fuck with you. But if they get me, they put me in a box, guess what? I'm invisible now.
I've found a solution for this small, petty little problem that we can move on and start talking about new things.
Okay.
I'll just create an Epstein-like island with no nefarious activities. I just mean a secluded island that I get to fly in. So I'll make my own island that I go to fly in. It'll be Ludwig Island. Nothing weird will happen there. I should have used a different island, but what I'm trying to say is I'll just find an island, and then that will be my island that I can fly in. It's my flying island.
Yeah, no. And then you keep like a little logbook of everyone who flies there?
No. There's no log. Nobody works there. It's just an island.
Everyone who flies at the island, you have a logbook of everybody who comes and flies there.
I feel like it's a good part of the podcast to let everybody know I'm not a predator.
They're going to put you in a box, bro.
They're not going to
They're
put
going
me
to
in a box.
put you in a box wherever you go.
They're not going to put me in a box.
And invisibility will get you out of any situation in which you're entrapped. Where are you flying that's so important? Or is it just the act of flying that's fun?
I think it would bring me immense joy to fly around the world. I watched this one video. You ever see it? The guy flies to McDonald's on a paraglider thing.
No.
Look it up right now. Look it up.
No.
Look it up. Don't be an asshole.
No.
Look it up. Look it up on your computer.
I don't want to.
What do you mean? What is this? What is this? What is that?
Look
it up.
I don't want to.
It's a cool contraption. It's a contraption that's cool.
He's not even really flying.
Obviously.
My invisible guys are the best.
What do you mean they're the best? No, they're bringing the worst invisible guys. Some good people, sure. Most invisible guys suck. All right, they only want to be perverts and they want to be little perverts. Or
what the fuck? You just talked about buying an Epstein Island.
No,
and you talked about buying a version of Epstein's Island to go there and have your fun.
A mischaracterization.
You said I'm gonna buy a second version of Epstein's Island to go and have my fun there.
It's not like a lot of people buy islands. There's not like I don't have another island guy off the top of my head. So I was trying to think of an island that you could buy.
Long Island.
That's America. I'm trying to think of something that's not American that you could buy. I don't know a lot of island owners.
What country was Epstein's Island in?
It's its own thing. It's an island. It's not in a country. It's like an island.
It was in the U.S. It was in the U.S. Virgin Islands. You fucking idiot.
Flying's so dope. Flying would be so dope, bro.
You fucking idiot. My God.
Flying would be so dope.
Do you think you could buy a small island and not be under any jurisdiction?
Yeah, I thought I'd just buy a fucking island and then it'd be my fucking island. I didn't think I thought I could like piss and shit wherever I want and no one would freak out.
And you're a streamer, which means you only care about validation, so you'd only enjoy flying if people saw you flying.
Wrong.
Yes?
Wrong.
Why do you turn into Trump when you...
Folks, the greatest single joy that I have day to day.
He fucking turns into Trump when he starts losing.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Life is about a pursuit of happiness. It's about finding joy, finding things that make you happy. There's a few things that make everybody happy. It's relationships. It's your fellow comrades. It's your loved ones. Money is financial freedom, which allows you to enjoy those things around you. But there's also other things. There's other things. Hobbies, gaming maybe. That brings you little bits of joy. The greatest joy I have in my day-to-day life outside of people is riding around my Vespa during sunset. There's a sense of sereneness and understanding that when this sun fades and this darkness comes over me, it's something that'll happen for billions of years after I'm gone. Now, being able to fly, right, would be such a different experience with the birds, with the noise, with the wind, all right, the sunset with a vantage point no one's ever seen. I feel like that experience alone, I could die happy.
When you button up a shirt, do you button it from top to bottom or from bottom to top?
Can we set some ground rules?
Okay.
What's the shirt? What's the occasion?
Button, shirt with buttons.
A jacket.
Sure. A jacket, a dress shirt could be really anything with
No,
buttons.
no. It's different.
Okay. You button different articles of clothing differently?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, that's a really good way to put my argument.
How do you do that? Can you explain it?
Well, I guess to preface, you button every single thing with buttons top down always.
Every single piece of clothing that I have that has buttons on it, I start at the very tippy top. Or I start wherever I would like the buttons to start. So sometimes that's at the top. Sometimes it's, if it's a dress shirt, I'll start at the...
Whoa.
What?
So it changes. It's not always at the top.
It starts wherever I want the buttons to start.
It starts at the topmost button you'd like buttoned.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. Now I'm going to give you an example here.
Okay.
You're going to a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Your friend is getting married. You are a groomsman. Congratulations, Slat.
Thank you.
All right. You got to wear a button down and tie. You are starting at the absolute throat crunching top button.
Okay. Well, I'd start from maybe the second to top.
Oh, okay. Wow. Falling apart really quickly, are we?
You are the motherfucker who said you start at the bottom. Can we talk about this for a second? You said you start at the bottom.
Slat. I have flexibility. All right. I do what is most convenient in my life. Sometimes that's the bottom. Sometimes that's halfway up. But I would never, ever start with the topmost
You
button.
argue so dishonestly, you stupid fucking bitch.
Whoa.
You stupid pinhead looking pipsqueak motherfucker.
This is where he's going.
Take a stance. Take a stance, mogul.
You're easy pickings.
I'm not easy. You do it weird.
You fall apart. All right. SVB is who I'm talking to right now. They're going to put you in a box. The way you button a button-down shirt.
They're not going to put me in a box. They're going to put you in a box because you're talking about starting Epstein Island
They're
2.
going to put you in a box because you button the top neck button.
See, this is what you did last time. This is what the viewers. This is what the viewers didn't see last time when I lost the audio, because you take each argument and you force it to its very extreme case that seems to make the rest of the common sense of my argument look a little silly. You haven't even said what you do.
I told you what I do.
You haven't even said what you do. What do you do?
I do what's most comfortable. So oftentimes that ends up being towards the bottom.
So the most comfortable is to start down here.
It would be probably in somewhere, maybe the third or fourth button up to create a bit of tension.
That's fucking insane.
You need to create a bit of tension around the waist.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then you start here?
I'm not Count Chocula, buddy. I just look halfway down and I just grab the button that feels natural.
Like, it's so easy to tell from the top where the buttons start.
It's because you didn't create tension.
What do you mean?
Because when you go from the bottom up, there's no tension, so the buttons become a little harder to grasp. It's like simple buttoning.
The buttons, they line themselves up when you start from the top. It's so easy to go to the next one.
That's not the top. You missed one. Go to the very top.
This is, okay,
you go.
already know how I feel about this. You already know how I feel about this.
I mean, hey, you said top down. That was you said you always do top down.
This is, anyone would say.
You sound like you got a stoma.
Anyone would say that this is still top to bottom because you're starting basically at the top. And look, the buttons line themselves up. I don't have to guess.
I'm just giving you an example that immediately deteriorated your argument of a dress shirt where you would not go top down. You would save the top for later. And so now I'm a crazy person, apparently. I'm a loony.
95% at the fucking top, bro.
Is that what you said earlier? Or did you say you always go top down?
Oh my Lord.
So let's have some consistency.
You distill it to the stupidest fucking edge case.
It's not an edge slat.
It's so dishonest. It's so dishonest.
At its core, every single rule that you create in life should be applicable for all scenarios.
So you just live in this kind of amorphous state of, I don't know. Whatever's good for me at that time.
Little baby said what?
Going back, what?
What's the next topic?
I'm not done.
Oh.
I think in general, most people will listen to what you just said, how you generally tend to button up and down your shirts from a middle point and then down all the way to the bottom of the shirt and then back to the middle and then up a little and then up a little until
maybe this will get you there.
Okay.
Sometimes I like feeling like a 90-year-old European who's just wearing the shirt way too open. You know what I mean? You ever see those guys, those Europeans, they got like 3 buttons and it's like they got like white chest hair popping out.
Right.
But it's always like a little bold. I'm like, I can't go out. Like this is I look crazy.
I get that.
I'm on my way to the Abbey right now.
Okay.
So then I get like throughout the night, I like start buttoning it up a little bit, like as I'm getting ready. But in the early stages, I like feeling, at least role playing for a little bit, that I could have this level of confidence like a 90-year-old geriatric European.
But you don't.
But I usually end up going at some point from that bottom button where I'm European up.
And I think most people would just think that's an absurd postmodern nightmare.
You used that word without knowing how it fit in.
What?
What's postmodern about it?
I heard it on Fox last night.
That's problematic.
What do you mean? Ludwig, is water wet?
It's a good question, Schlett. And I think it's kind of a head scratcher. And my gut, in my heart of hearts, says, yeah, water is wet.
Why do you think water is wet? Let's dive in.
Water is abundant.
Mm-hmm.
Wet is a thing.
Okay, well, hold on. Water creates the wet, I'd say. I don't think water is the wet.
I can understand that.
I'm talking like Starfire from Teen Titans.
What?
If you have fire, if I lit my house on fire right now and claimed a shit ton of insurance money for it.
Right. So much.
Honestly, I'm kind of thinking about it now that you planted that idea in my head.
Wouldn't announce it.
Would you say that the fire is burning? Is the fire itself, does it have that property of being burnt? Similarly, would water have the property of being wet? Is this a dishonest way of arguing? Because I don't think it is.
Yeah, I would say it's a little dishonest because being wet is not a permanent state, but being burnt is, right? Like you're changing the state of matter.
So when does something become wet?
So wet, I think, generally is a visual thing. Like you can see when things are wet, or you feel it with your senses. You can feel that is something is wet. And so sometimes something doesn't visually look wet, like a chair that's padded, but you sit down and it's very wet, and your ass gets wet instantly. It's happened to all of us.
Okay.
Right? And you're like, I know it's wet because of that.
What does this have to do with water?
With water, I don't know if we can visually tell that it's wet, because how do we separate water from being wet?
The water bestows the property of wetness. The water is not wet. The water is not wet itself.
All right, tell me why water isn't wet.
I don't know.
Okay.
Is a molecule of water wet, would you say?
I think any amount of water is wet.
Despite the fact that it's not sticking to anything.
I think that it's the ability is what I'm talking about. How is water not wet? I don't know. I want to even understand a basis.
Because wet is the property of having water on it that's sticking to it. When you dry it, can you dry water?
Yeah.
If I'm wet, you can dry water.
Water evaporates.
Oh.
There is a set amount of water on Earth that came from meteors billions of years ago. We will never get more water. You know that, right?
We'll never get more?
We're never going to get more water, ever.
Really?
We have as much water as we will ever have, barring another meteor full of ice coming down to Earth. And if that happens, we got a lot more problems.
That's true.
And what do you think happens to the water? It recycles. It evaporates into the air and it falls back down. So yeah, water does by itself dry. You seem lost, buddy.
The property of being wet is only applied by the water itself. The water has nothing to wet when it's a body.
Right.
It can wet the ground below it, perhaps, but in general, the body of the water itself can't be wet, because wet is the property of having water sticking on it and affecting it.
Look, first off, I get the argument. I'm going to reach across the aisle here. You're saying that water doesn't change states. So it's either always wet or always dry. But maybe I argue a little differently here. Maybe in my mind, water, when it evaporates, when it becomes a gas, is no longer what we would call wet, because it's not dense enough to make things wet. Now, there's certain points when it's in a gas state, if there's enough water, that it could make something wet. But most of the time when it's evaporating, the same reason you walk around and you're not instantly getting wet, all right? Even on a very humid day, it's like, you can feel that, right?
We're talking about fucking humidity. My God.
But you understand that there's a gradient of when water becomes gas, where we consider it dry, there's a dry day out, or wet, a humid day out.
So just like the button up, it just changes based on how you feel. There's no set answer.
Every single thing in this world is nothing except how we perceive it with our senses. What are you talking about? The world we perceive is different from other
so
creatures who
dishonest.
perceive
You're
it
so
differently.
dishonest.
It's not dishonest. It's trying to find truth in subjectivity.
Terrible.
There's not a correct answer, Schlatt. We have a limited amount of senses, a limited amount of technology. What, Schlatt, buddy, it's a magazine, not a clip. Relax.
It doesn't even work.
This worked for moist and Sneeko. I don't know if it's applicable for water is wet.
It's okay. I have another one.
Okay. Why do you have two? Just Jesus, Schlatt.
I'm sorry. God.
Oh my God, that would have been so bad if you killed yourself.
That would have been bad.
Oh, jeez.
Kind of like Epstein, you know? How he did that?
Maybe he got caught flying.
Maybe he did. Maybe they have him in a little box, poking and prodding at him like 7.
It's 11.
Thanks so much for watching DidSchlattWin, everybody. You can go over to DidSchlattWin.com or follow us on Twitter at DidSchlattWin and vote in the poll to see who won all these fun, awesome arguments. Ludwig, thanks so much for coming on, man. Thanks so much.
Absolute pleasure, buddy. Can't wait to see the next British kid next week after you lost this one.
You got anything you want to shout out?
I don't want an island. I feel like maybe that's the one thing that's good. I don't want one. I just want to fly. I just want to fly in peace.
Yeah, you set yourself up for terrible, terrible press for that one.
Just want to fly. Just want to fly.
And you know what? We're leaving all of it in.
Please don't. Please don't.
Bye.
Please don't, though, right? You're not gonna. Are we off? You're not gonna, right? Schlatt.